So we've got Lou Mycroft then. And so what is your current job role, Lou?
So I'm a teacher educator at the Northern College in Barnsley, and it's a social purpose programme of education. So it's the qualifications you'd recognise, but we layer a social purpose curriculum onto that because of our mission as a college, which is about transformational empowerment education.
Fantastic. Okay. And what's your background in teaching? How did you get to that point where you're at now?
Well, like many people who come on our courses, I had a bit of a patchy education and came to it eventually through a route of community development work with a public health background. So I actually came as a community regen trainer to Northern College 16 years ago. And I moved into education, into teacher education, partly because my PGC had been so rubbish and I couldn't figure out why teaching was really exciting, but teacher education was so dull. But also in a time when we were looking for sustainability, the same people were coming from the same communities to course after course. If they were teachers, they could teach this stuff. So that was at the heart of our program, really, and how I became a teacher educator, sort of fell into it, really. But, you know, so many of us do.
Yeah, I hear you, totally. So what was you kind of answered it a little bit in that question, I suppose, but what was your biggest influence on your teaching practice, and why was this?
Well, it's a person that I thought of to talk to you about, Dan, and it's a guy called John Chapman who was, he actually brought me to Northern College as a disgraced community worker because I was actually trying to do what the community wanted doing rather than what organisations wanted doing. And he really got me the job at Northern College and took a chance on me. And why that's been an influence on me as a teacher is because John didn't always get me. He came from a different political paradigm, really, but he got that I knew what I was doing, and he always just let me be myself. So I've grown up in the mold of being present as myself as a teacher. I haven't had to find that because right from the start with John, I was supported to do that. And that's what I do with my students now. I say to them, figure out who you are as a teacher, and that's what I'll help you do on your journey rather than fit any sort of mould. John died 7 years ago. I miss him terribly, but his legacy is still absolutely with me. Every time I start to feel myself fitting in, I think of John.
Yeah, it's that empowering. Yeah, that's great stuff. Okay, and if you could recommend a piece of reading or a piece of research, what would you recommend to teachers and why?
This is such a tough one because everybody is at a different starting point, and I totally know that what I'm going to suggest here will terrify some people, right? But I think that if all teachers could be prepared to take on, grapple with bell hooks as teaching to transgress, we would have a completely different education system. And the thing to remember about Bell, I just didn't like her at all for ages. And my friend pointed out to me, she is really shouty, but she's shouting for us, not shouting at us. So if you can remember that and read Bell, if you can get to the point where you do that, then I think education will be transformed.
Can you give us a synopsis?
Yeah, she talks about a pedagogy of hope and a pedagogy of love. She's a black female academic in America. She's been around for a while. She's always like getting herself into trouble with the academy, but she believes in the potential of human beings, basically. And in her work, which can be very academic, but Teaching to Transgress is also a really great read. In her work, she her expectations and her belief in people's potential just absolutely shines through. She's not interested in putting limits on people, and this idea of a pedagogy of hope plays out in all sorts of really appropriate but loving ways in her practice, and that's what she sort of gave me permission to do as well.
Oh, lovely. Okay, and if you could recommend them one teaching strategy to your trainee teachers, what would it be and why?
I can hear them all shouting because this is so easy. It's the thinking environment. It's a process of communication that is really simple, really radical, just means following a set of rules that people feel so, find really difficult when they're starting out. But it relies on giving the best quality listening so that the thinker does their best thinking. It's easily available. It's out there. There's a book, very affordable, by Nancy Klein called More Time to Think. It's not set in education. Not everybody likes the way that Nancy writes, but ignore that. The processes are just perfect. And I work with these processes all the time. Most of my trainees take them out into their practice, and they're revolutionary. They change cultures of organizations, and they allow individuals to find their voice. Absolutely brilliant. Nothing better.
Yeah, I've actually heard about that. A ex-colleague of mine went on a training course and absolutely loved that. Thinking environment. Well, that concludes the 5 questions. So thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. I've enjoyed thinking about them.
Good. And hopefully you'll enjoy watching some of the other videos.
Yeah. I look forward to that. Thanks for the opportunity, Dan.
No problem. You take care now.
You too, mate. Bye.
Bye.